Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. So this is an update from yesterday's video, and you don't know how close we came to a nuclear Armageddon. We were very, very close, guys. Very, very close. So thank God it hasn't happened, but I'm not saying we're completely out of the water just yet. So let's just sit back and think about what's happened and look at what's been agreed. So Trump basically sent a tweet out saying Pakistan intervened and he agreed a 2-week ceasefire. And he says he's happy with Iran's 10-point peace plan, which is what you're seeing on the screen. But this is only a 2-week ceasefire, guys. Let's not get too excited because Israel has not agreed to any ceasefires, by the way. So Israel can still potentially attack Iran. And also, there is also a small problem. How many times has Israel and United States broke a ceasefire in Gaza, in Lebanon? I'll tell you, more than 10,000 times. 10,000 times they broke the ceasefire in Lebanon and in Gaza. So you cannot trust them, guys. You cannot trust this Western um, satanic. I'm not going to say all the words because you probably know what I'm talking about. Epstein. Excuse me. So you cannot trust them. That's what I'm saying. So, well, I don't disagree with Iran's approach. I think what they did was the right thing. And it was the right thing because, number one, they got 2 weeks to rearm. So if I was Iran, I would contact Russia and China straight away, right, straight away, and I will get as much raw materials as I can for the missiles. I will get all the spare parts for all the missiles, anti-aircraft missiles that I've lost, all the military units that I've lost. I would get all the jet fuels for the missiles. I would get all the raw materials, rare earths, engines for missiles, hypersonic missiles. I will get lots of these dummy units they get from China, which are like dummy units, which obviously waste a lot of American missiles because they think it's the real thing, but it's not. And I would also get lots of stuff from Russia as well. Get as many weapons from China and Russia as you can in the next 2 weeks. Basically, you need to restock or rearm just in case this war starts again. And all the intelligence gathering that they've done over the past, 40 days, because this war has gone on for 40 days. All the intelligence they gathered, I think what they need to do is sit down and go through all the intelligence and see how they can improve. So they can go through all the intelligence, they can see how they shot down aircrafts, how they can improve on it, maybe buy more, anti-aircraft missiles from China or from Russia. And, you know, you basically got 2 weeks. And the most important thing, I think what Iran should do is build a nuke in the next 2 weeks. And they should put all of their efforts into this. It should be a national priority. The same way China put building nukes as their national priority, Iran should do the same. When China built their nukes, China didn't build high-speed rail. They didn't build any infrastructure at the time. They didn't build roads or, building all these skyscrapers and things like that. They didn't waste time doing that. The first thing China did was build nukes. And that gives you a solid foundation And then after that, China started building. Then after that, started building, roads and bridges and infrastructure and high-speed rail, high-rise buildings. Then you see, cities like Shenzhen coming up. Then you see the Pudong area in Shanghai started coming up, and all these other cities started looking amazing. But it all started from having nukes, basically. So because nukes gives you that extra level of security that no country will dare to invade you, no country can dare to nuke you or threaten you. And same thing that North Korea has done. And the countries that don't have nukes, they are in danger. See, all of these countries that spent money on building skyscrapers and stuff like that. I'm talking about Dubai, talking about Qatar, Saudi Arabia, even let's just say Singapore as well. And all of these countries building high-rise buildings, skyscrapers, but they have no security, guys. They have no army, no nuclear weapons. They rely on American protection. And look what American protection has done to these Middle Eastern Gulf countries. Nothing. In fact, the United States has actually brought on, more trouble than it's worth. It's brought on missile strikes, economic hardships, destroyed infrastructure, oil refineries, just by having American bases on your soil. So basically, that's what Iran needs to do, guys. They need to build a nuke. I have been saying this for a long time, and if they haven't built a nuke by now, then they are extremely, extremely. Um, I don't want to use the word stupid, but you know, in this moment, but let's just say they're extremely short-sighted. Yeah, that's a better word. Short-sighted, and that's what they need to do, guys. So let's go through this 10-point peace plan. And this is something Trump has said he's agreed on, or he's willing to negotiate on. So number one, guarantee that Iran will not be attacked again. So I don't know how they can guarantee this, to be honest, because America, Trump, Israel are known, they're very famous for not sticking to agreements. Like the JCPOA, all it takes is Trump waking up one day with a bad mood and he will just tear up the agreement and start attacking Iran again. That's what they do, guys. So I don't know. I don't think that will work for some reason. Unless they get some sort of I think the only way, like I said, Iran can protect itself is by having a nuke. And I think what Iran needs to do is maybe have some sort of military alliance with Russia and or China, and they provide Iran with some sort of military guarantee and nuclear umbrella protection and other things as well. Maybe have Chinese and Russian bases alongside the Hormuz Strait, alongside Iran. Maybe that could be an idea, but I'm just guessing, guys. Number two, permanent end to the war, not just a ceasefire. I think the permanent end to the war is going to be quite difficult um, because I think both sides they want things that they are not willing to negotiate on. For example, Israel obviously wants Iran to be not to have any nuclear um, material, not to have a nuclear program. Even civilian nuclear programs are out of the question for Israel. And they don't want Iran to have ballistic missiles. They don't want Iran to support, Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas, and things like that. So there's a lot of non-negotiating stuff So I don't know if Trump or the West or Israel will agree to that, to be honest. And also, there's a big factor of war reparations for all the damage that United States and Israel has caused Iran. So somebody will have to pay for that. So how I don't see Trump paying for it. So I think they might do some sort of deal on the Hormuz Strait where Iran maybe charges ships until the debt is paid or something. Then they could allow it to go for free again. But we'll see. We'll see what's agreed to. End to Israeli strikes in Lebanon. I don't know about end of Israeli strikes in Lebanon because how many, you know, Israel has broken the ceasefire 10,000 times and Israel is inside Lebanon. So, and right now Israel is losing in Lebanon. So the only way, I think if Iran basically says Israel needs to get out of Lebanon, then that would make more sense. But if Israel is losing in Lebanon and they are getting their ass whipped at the moment, I would say, Iran just leave it as it is, unless they put a clause on to say Israel completely needs to leave Lebanon and stop attacking Lebanon. Then maybe, but the fact that he says end of Israeli strikes in Lebanon, it just shows that he's not asking for Israel to leave. So maybe he needs more clarification. Lifting of all US sanctions on Iran, I do believe this will happen. I do believe it will happen, mainly because I think lifting the US sanctions on Iran, everybody makes money. The Americans will make money, Iran will obviously make money, Europeans will make money, and there's going to be more oil in the market, and the oil prices will come down. And I think that's what everybody wants. So I think that will happen. I think that's something I believe they will all agree on. End to all regional fighting against Iranian allies. Um, yeah, I think that is something that could be agreed on as well. Because if you notice, you know, it's all of the Iranian allies like Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, the Iraqi resistance, all of them came online as soon as Iran got attacked. So if they stop attacking Iran, I believe they will also stop as well. So yeah, we'll see about that really. It all depends on Israel as well. Israel has to stop its aggression as well. Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think Iran will open the Strait of Hormuz immediately. I think there's a question of reparations. They will have to be paid. So unless they come to some sort of deal, then they'll probably open it. Iran would impose a 2 million fee per ship transiting Hormuz. Yeah, they're already doing that. And that fee is paid by yuan or crypto at the moment. I think it's USDT. Iran would split these fees with Oman. I don't know if Iran would split the fees with Oman. I think they will give Oman a little bonus because they cannot split the fees with Oman because Iran is the one that's controlling the strait, and they're the ones controlling with their own ships and their own facilities and own administration and all of that. All of that costs money. So I think they will give Oman a small fee, but I don't think they will split it. Iran would establish rules for safe passage through Hormuz. Yeah, that's something that's already happening already. Iran would use Hormuz fees for reconstruction instead of reparations. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. So if America or Israel cannot pay for reparations, Iran would use the Hormuz fees to to reconstruct. So let's go back to the first reason. Why did Trump back out suddenly? One day he's talking about nuclear Armageddon against Iran, destroying the civilization of Iran. Next day, he's completely backs out and gives in to Iranian demands, like almost like he's surrendered to Iran, because the fact that he says he's willing to give in to Iran's 10-point peace plan means that he's surrendering to Iran's demands. So why did he do a complete 180? Doesn't make sense, right? But it does make sense when you know Trump. Trump is like this. You know, he goes from high to low, high to low, high to low. He's very extreme one day and he's very complimentary the next day. You know, he is what you call, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever been with uh, you know, like a toxic relationship, whether you're a male or a female. One day things are really, really good. Next day things are really, really bad. And it's like a roller coaster. It goes high one day, low one day, higher one day, low one day. That's exactly what Trump is like. I think, I think, I think that somebody had a word with Trump because Trump has sent that tweet about nuclear Armageddon destroying Iranian civilization. And I think somebody had a word with Trump saying, you cannot do this because, and the people who had a word with Trump are the real people who control the world, right? I, I don't want to. I don't want to talk too much about it because talking about this kind of stuff gets you banned in YouTube. But I'm going to give you some clues, basically. There's a group of people who control the world, extremely, extremely powerful, rich people. And these people have been around for centuries, right? And they control most of the money, most of the power, resources, most of the companies, and they pretty much control the U.S. government. Even though people might think Trump has all the power, he doesn't. You know, there's some people that Trump reports to, and it's these people that Trump reports to. And we're talking about, you know, these people own banks and, you know, finance, oils, um, you know, major businesses like BlackRock or the tech companies. You know, these guys are proper rich. Some might say they're called the Illuminati. Some might say they're called, you know, they are the kind of descendants of Rothschilds. Some might say these are like secret societies, you know, like the people that really pull the strings. And I think they probably had a word with Trump. And the reason they had a word with Trump is because nuclear Armageddon is not good for them. If Trump decides to pull the nuclear button, destroys Iran, and like I said in my previous video, there is a small chance that Iran might have nukes. There is a very, very small chance that Iran may have got nukes. Either they built it in secret or they have got it from their friends, maybe Pakistan, North Korea, you know, or maybe even China or Russia provided them the technology or something. And same way they underestimated Iran in this, you know, they underestimated Iran on two wars now. There was a 12-day war last year, if you remember, and obviously this 40-day war. Both times they underestimated Iran. They did not know Iran had hypersonic missiles. They did not know Iran was going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They did not know, you know, Iran would start blowing up all the bases in the GCC. All of these things were a surprise. So this shows you that the intelligence in the West is very poor. They don't know anything about Iran. So imagine if they fire a nuke to Iran, and then Iran suddenly fires a nuke back to Israel, completely blows up Israel, starts blowing up, then they start blowing up all the GCC countries, all the American bases, you know, start nuking them. And then other countries start nuking each other. This could cause end of the world, and end of the world is good for nobody. And it's certainly not good for these people who control the world, who are like rich bankers, rich, Illuminatis. They pull the strings, they control the world. It's not good for them. What good is running the world if there's nobody left, if there's nothing to rule over, and there's no way to make money anymore because everybody's pretty much dead? So these people must have had a chat with Trump saying, look, you need to calm down on your rhetoric. You're destroying the markets. The markets are going crazy because of your tweets. We're losing money. And if we lose money, you're in trouble. I think they probably gave him some threats. And these rich people, you can call them whatever you like. You can call them Illuminati. Some people call them the Jews, obviously. Um, I do think a lot of them are Jews because but not all of them. I think there are some non-Jews there as well. They might be Zionists, though. They might be. They definitely support the state of Israel. They seem to be all of them are probably in agreement to that. But the people I'm talking about. So they would have hated to lose money, yeah, in any nuclear Armageddon. So they would have told Trump to calm down. And it's the same people who told Trump to tackle on the tariffs on China. Because if you guys remember, when he was doing tariff war with China, he was saying, I'm going to give China a 25% tariff. Then China fired back with 20%. And then he said, oh, I'm going to give them 50% tariff. China fired back with 40%. I'm going to give them 100% tariff, and China fired back with, I think, 90% or something. I'm going to give them 125% tariff, and China fired back with 120% tariff. So he kept going on and on. And he came to a point where there was no trade going on between China and USA. China blocked all the rare earths. And then suddenly, I think the same people who are really in charge of the world, these rich, powerful, Illuminati, let's just say, you know, Zios, they called Trump and they said, all right, you need to calm down. You need to basically make a deal with China. You need to go back on your tariff war, go back to how it was, and you need to calm down because we're losing money here. There's no trade going on between China. We're not getting any rare earths, and that means we cannot build our military. So you need to stop your rhetoric. And immediately the next day, Trump basically backed down, and everyone started calling him Techo. And he's been doing that throughout his basically his second term. He's been doing that. He's been doing some crazy stuff, sending out some crazy tweets one day, and then a couple of days later, completely going 180, completely backtracking. Because I think what's happening is he thinks he's in control and he's doing whatever he wants. And then these people who are really in charge are calling him up and saying, calm down, go back, you need to tackle, otherwise you're in major, major trouble. And these people could be threatening him with the Epstein files and other things like that. Who knows? And this is the only reason I can think of why Trump would back down, because he's not going to listen to any of his people in his administration. Everybody in America seems to be supporting him. You see his MAGA like cult following. I mean, he's lost a lot of them basically, but he still has a pretty good following. The press loves him. He's supported by the press. He's still got the majority of Congress and Senate. These are mostly Republicans, and they all pretty much support what he does. There's a very small minority who are against what he says. You can see, like, basically when he came out with the statement, civilization is going to end, how many people actually, supported him, or how many people spoke out in Congress? Do you, apart from one or two, have you seen anybody from Congress standing up and saying we need to, basically push the 25th Amendment? Nobody said it. And what about the news networks, Fox News and all CNN, all these? Were they outraged? No, they weren't. Basically everybody wanted him to do it, and his administration was supporting him. JD Vance was supporting him. Rubio was supporting him. Obviously, all the Jews were supporting him. All the Israelis were supporting him. So the only people he actually listens to are those people higher up than him. Those rich, powerful Illuminati, Jews, Zionists, whatever you want to call it, secret society. These are the people who attend these Epstein parties. These are the people who really control the world. So they must have called him and they told him to back down. And I think that's what's happened. Even though they would love to destroy Iran, I think because of the small possibility Iran having a nuke themselves, because they have the knowledge, everyone knows that, Iran has the knowledge. If they can have a nuclear, um, knowledge and facility, they have very clever scientists. They have the full life cycle of the nuclear program. They can efficiently enrich uranium. They got hypersonic missiles. Everything is there for them to do it. They don't really need outside help. They might need some technical knowledge from Russia or China or maybe Pakistan how to deliver a nuke on a missile, but everything else they know how to do it. So there is a very small percentage chance that Iran would have used a nuke on Israel, which is what these people love Israel. Most of them are Zionists. These are the Epstein class we're talking about, which are who are and I don't know if you guys have seen the Epstein Palace where all the stuff goes down. It's basically looks like a castle with the Jewish flag on it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, the blue and white temple thing that they go and do their parties in. So yeah, these people love Israel. So they must have thought there's a small chance Israel could be completely destroyed. And also China came up with a threat as well. China said that if Iran is nuked, then Israel would disappear. You know, well, I think that's what Victor Gao said in an interview. I don't think any Chinese official said it officially, but the fact that Victor Gao has said it, I think that's what most people in China are probably thinking as well. Obviously, he doesn't speak for the government, but most of the stuff he does say has been proved right. He does have lots of links to the Chinese government as well. So he's not a nobody basically. So you got to take his words very seriously. So yeah, I think because they were scared, Israel would have been destroyed as well as Iran, and also the world's economy would have been destroyed. Everything would have been destroyed, and all these people with money, with these rich, Illuminatis, Jews, whatever you want to call it, Epstein class, they would have lost a lot of money. And one thing they hate more is losing money. And I think just just the thought alone of all of them losing their money and stuff, that must have really scared them. And this is why they called Trump and they told him to back down. So let's see what happens. I don't think Iran should trust these lot because, like I said before, they never ever stick to any ceasefire agreements. And any agreement that you do agree with them, don't trust it because give it 6 months, give it a year, they will tear it up again and start attacking again. That's what they do. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.